Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Adam Pearce is under a lot of stress at present, especially with WrestleMania 41 merely weeks away and the Women's World Championship picture looking like a mess. Finally, Adam Pearce was able to make the decision to turn it into a triple threat match at WrestleMania 41, this week on WWE Raw, but as Rhea Ripley made her way out to the ring, Adam Pearce had a major botch when he claimed that she was representing the Judgment Day. Ripley hasn't been associated with the heel stable since SummerSlam last year, when the group turned their back on her and Damian Priest. Ripley didn't seem affected by the botch since she continued with the segment and eventually signed the contract, officially getting added to the WrestleMania 41 match for the Women's World Championship. She lost the title earlier in the year. The segment eventually turned into a brawl since Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley had a lot of ongoing tension. After they ignored Io Sky once again, the current champion stepped out of the ring, only to springboard back in and knock Ripley into Belair to remain the last woman standing. After which, she, too, officially signed the contract. After the segment, Pearce reacted to his botch on X/Twitter by posting a GIF. It will be interesting to see who comes out on top at WrestleMania 41 when these three women collide next weekend. April 13, 2025, WWE Raw was set to open with a bang, but it exploded in a way no one could have predicted. What was meant to be a triumphant return segment for the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, instead descended into awkward confusion and viral chaos, thanks to a glaring miscue by none other than Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. From the moment the show's red lights flared and the camera panned to Pearce in the center of the ring, something felt off. Pearce, typically the steady hand guiding the madness of Monday Night Raw, seemed visibly flustered. Whether it was production miscommunication, a script change at the last second, or simply human error, what unfolded was one of the most cringe-inducing opening segments in recent memory. Pearce, microphone in hand, took a deep breath as he stood amid a restless Chicago crowd at the Allstate Arena, all buzzing in anticipation of Rhea Ripley's first appearance since being forced to vacate the Women's World Championship due to injury. For weeks, cryptic teasers and ominous promos had hyped her return, promising answers and retribution. Fans were ready. Social media was ablaze. This was supposed to be Rhea's moment. Pearce began, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley." The crowd went from roaring to confused murmurs. SmackDown Women's Champion? That title hadn't existed in nearly a year, since the belts were unified into the Women's World Championship and Women's Undisputed Championship. Pearce's fumble was painfully obvious. Before anyone backstage could hit the emergency earpiece, Pearce doubled down, seemingly unaware of his blunder. "The nightmare returns to Raw," Pearce declared, as the Titantron blared Ripley's entrance theme, "Brutality." Out came Rhea Ripley, decked in her signature leather jacket and scowl, but her expression wasn't just intense, it was ice cold. She stalked to the ring, clearly having heard Pearce's botched announcement, her eyes daggers pointed directly at the GM. Even Dominic Mysterio, trailing behind her like a loyal shadow, looked unsure whether to smirk or wince. Ripley stepped into the ring and snatched the microphone from Pearce with a snap of her gloved fingers. "SmackDown Women's Champion?" she growled, her Australian accent dripping with venom. "Pearce, are you serious right now?" The crowd erupted with a mix of cheers and laughter, feeding off the tension in the ring. Pearce, realizing his mistake too late, tried to backpedal. I meant Women's World Champion," he stammered, running a nervous hand down his face. "Former Women's World Champion. My apologies, Rhea." Ripley was having none of it. She stepped closer, invading Pearce's space with the ferocity that had made her one of the most feared women in WWE. Her eyes narrowed. "You think this is a joke, Pearce? I bust my body week in, week out, and you can't even get my title right?" Ripley snapped. "You're disrespecting me, you're disrespecting this division, and you're disrespecting the Judgment Day." Dominic, seizing the opportunity, chimed in with his usual bravado. "You tell him, Mommy. Pearce, you're just like all these people here, disrespectful, ignorant, and stupid." The crowd booed Dominic mercilessly, but Ripley wasn't finished. She paced the ring, her fury building with every step. "You've had weeks to prepare for my return," she continued, her voice rising. "Weeks to set the tone, and you botch it in the first 30 seconds? Pathetic." Pearce tried to regain control, raising his hand to calm the situation, but Ripley was beyond placation. "You know what? Forget your apology," she snarled. I didn't come back for your pity or your clumsy speeches. I came back for what's mine." With that, Ripley turned toward the hard camera, her eyes burning with purpose. "Whoever holds my title, you better watch your back," she declared. "Because the real champion is back, and I'm coming for blood." The arena erupted as Ripley tossed the microphone down with force, her message sent loud and clear. Pearce, left standing awkwardly in the corner of the ring, could only watch as Ripley and Dominic exited to thunderous cheers and jeers alike. Backstage, cameras caught Pearce immediately pulling his headset aside, speaking frantically to the production team, visibly rattled. Meanwhile, in gorilla position, several superstars were reportedly caught on camera exchanging amused, bewildered glances, with even Triple H himself raising an eyebrow at the botch heard round the WWE universe. Twitter, now X, exploded in real time. At Wrestle News, Adam Pearce just called Rhea Ripley the SmackDown Women's Champion. In 2025. R.I.P. to Pearce's mentions. At Mommy Era, Rhea Ripley just turned Pearce into dust live on Raw and it was glorious. At VinFox, botch or not, Rhea Ripley just made her statement loud and clear. Raw belongs to the Eradicator. By the second hour of Raw, WWE's official social media accounts had already leaned into the mishap, posting a tongue-in-cheek graphic of Pearce with the caption, "Oops. We all have those Mondays." Insiders later reported that Pearce, ever the professional, took full responsibility for the error backstage, even joking about it to lighten the mood. However, there's no denying the ripple effect the botch created. Some speculated it could even be spun into an on-screen storyline, with Ripley using Pearce's slip-up as fuel to further assert dominance over the women's division and hold Pearce accountable in future segments. As Raw went off the air, one thing was certain, whether by design or by accident, Rhea Ripley's return to Raw was unforgettable. Adam Pearce's blunder, while unplanned, only amplified the intensity of the moment, making Ripley's declaration feel even more urgent and real. In WWE, sometimes it's the unscripted moments that create the biggest impact. And tonight, thanks to a major botch, Rhea Ripley reminded the world exactly why she is the most dangerous force in professional wrestling. Pearce might want to triple-check his notes next time, because Mommy is watching.